Hi there! Welcome to Apple World. So Beyonce's mother, Tina, just got unloaded by her significant other, Richard Lawson. Also, as per Richard, he became ill and burned out on her continually affronting him. What's that? Could it be said that he is awesome? In no way, shape, or form. Be that as it may, he has a ton of the characteristics. No! He has a great deal of those characteristics. That I love. Furthermore, we're having a truly great time, and I'm getting a charge out of life. So there's trust. Ladies, Richard endured 32 years attempting to persuade Tina to be his lady. So it was simply wild that they endured 8 years. In any case, as per Richard's story, he got much beyond what he could have expected when he understood that Tina was not exactly the lady that he assumed he married. Did Tina truly fool him into marrying her after 8 years of marriage? Tina Knowles and Richard Lawson have tapped out. Several have been living independently. Tina and Lawson haven't dropped any new pics on Instagram, so it appears as though it's down over for Miss Tina Knowles Lawson and her significant other, Richard Lawson. Since word on the roads is that they are going directly towards separation. By all accounts, this is the week for separation in Hollywood, since it seems like everyone and their mom had a separation declaration this week alone. We simply need to consider what's happening out there in Hollywood. However, for Tina and Richard, the separation is precisely since. Supposing that you've been following their marriage, you'll realize that there has always been a high opportunity that the marriage would end in divorce. No, I'm doing whatever it takes not to detest the marriage or any such thing. However, there were a few signs in recent years that the marriage was on its last leg. In any case, the miserable piece of this is that when they originally got together, individuals really accepted that the marriage was planned to endure forever. They had known one another for quite a while before they got close, and individuals accepted that she merited an extraordinary romantic tale after how she was treated by her most memorable spouse and Beyonce and Solange's daddy, Matthew Knowles. Matthew and Tina were hitched for around 30 years, yet no one might at any point say that those 30 years were really blissful on the grounds that Matthew put her through them. There were tales that he was really faithless to her and undermined her for the overwhelming majority of their marriage. About a year after they got married, Tina was pregnant with Beyonce, and she chose to visit her companion Gwen. It was during this visit that she ran into Gwen's more seasoned sibling, Richard Lawson, and he was so taken in by Tina that he began putting continues on her without further ado, despite the fact that she was clearly pregnant. However, that didn't make any difference to him whatsoever, on the grounds that he was persuaded that it was unexplainable adoration. The kicker here is that Richard was likewise married at that point, and he even had a girl. Indeed, Tina wound up turning down his advances, and he chose to make do with the companion zone. Richard and his then-spouse, Denise, got separated in 1989, and he was as yet open to a relationship with Tina. However, she was as yet hitched to Matthew and had even brought forth another girl, Solange. Presently, rumors from far and wide suggest that Matthew had previously begun undermining Tina at that point, yet they were all the while making the marriage work. Or possibly she was, on the grounds that Matthew kept on undermining her. Despite the fact that Beyonce turned into a hotshot, the whole family became celebs. In any case, truth be told, he wasn't generally watchful with his issues, and everyone realizes that he was continually venturing out on Tina. It deteriorated when he got a lady named Alexandra pregnant and had a child with Tina. The marriage went through an extremely unpleasant spot, and they nearly split up. Yet Tina chose to allow him another opportunity. Indeed, Matthew wound up blowing his additional opportunity since he got another lady pregnant. This was the straw that broke the camel's back for Tina, and she wound up seeking legal separation and leaving the marriage. Richard Lawson then, at that point, considered this to be the ideal chance for him to take his action, since he had been keeping close by Tina for a considerable length of time, only trusting that the perfect opportunity would come. Tina and Matthew's separation concluded in 2011, and Richard promptly began taking actions, yet she was not keen on him that way. He stayed in the companion zone for at least 2 years until he inspired her to alter her perspective in 2013. Presently, we don't have any idea why precisely Tina turned Matthew down, yet individuals accept that this is on the grounds that he had one more kid outside of a stable family structure. He got a lady pregnant after his separation, and individuals accepted that Tina felt a certain way about this, likely as a result of the way that Matthew had 2 infants on her. So she felt like if Richard had a child without both mom and dad present, he could likewise undermine her. In any case, she wound up moving past her reservations, and she began dating Richard in 2013, 32 years after he initially began taking actions against her. Definitely, it's an ideal responsibility for me. The relationship turned out to be perfect, and Richard had the endorsement of Tina's children, and it most likely wasn't the least bit challenging for him to get the endorsement since they had known him for quite a long time. So they realized that he was definitely not a gold digger or attempting to get with her in light of her popularity. Be that as it may, the relationship worked out in a good way, and everything was great. Then in 2014, Tina's granddaughter, Blue Ivy, offered a charming remark to Richard, asking when he planned to man up and requesting that Tina wed him. Richard then requested Blue's authorization, gone against her grandmother, and Blue gave him her approval. Richard uncovered that once he had Blue's consent, he needed to request Beyonce and Solange's favor. Furthermore, he said, "I called her kids and requested her hand in marriage from them. I believed that was significant in light of the fact that I realized that it didn't have the potential for success except if they were ready. I was lucky enough that they were totally ready and directly beyond preposterous amped up for it." So Miss Tina and Richard got married in 2015, and clearly they were into one another to such an extent. You seldom saw one without the other on the grounds that they went wherever together on honorary pathways, occasions, and so on. They were simply carrying on with their cheerful lives. Also, it appeared as though Tina was at last going to get the romantic tale she merited. However, at that point, individuals began to see 2 or 3 things about their marriage that sent off a ton of alerts. To start with, there's the way that she wouldn't drop Matthew's last name, and on second thought, she added Richard's last name to it, and she became Tina Knowles Lawson. Individuals found it unusual that she actually kept Matthew's last name after getting married to another person. Many individuals felt like the explanation she would have rather not dropped the last name was that both of her genius girls triumphed when it was all said and done with the last name. Despite the fact that Beyonce had taken Jay-Z's last name and became Beyonce Knowles, certain individuals felt like Tina was making a good attempt to clutch the clout that accompanied the Knowles last name, despite the fact that she was in fact, as of now, not a Knowles. Many fans felt like this was rude to Richard, but hello, he didn't appear to mind without question. Or, on the other hand, perhaps he was recently feeling better because she at last allowed him an opportunity, and he would have rather not successfully vexed her. However, at that point, bits of gossip about Tina being extremely ill-bred with Richard began going around. Insiders detailed that she didn't regard him as her better half. She was discourteous and frequently contemptuous of his sentiments and suppositions. Presently, we sort of saw this firsthand when they did a meeting together, and she let him know that he wasn't ideal for her, even after she perceived how much it hurt him. "I appealed to God for the sort of man I needed, and I got basically that. Is it true or not that he is awesome? In no way, shape, or form. However, as you know, he has a ton of characteristics." No. He has a ton of those characteristics that I love. Furthermore, we're having a truly great time now. Obviously, he certainly felt that way about that. What's more, Tina got hauled up for disregarding him. Presently, it wasn't what she said that was the issue. It was the way in which she said it, and it just appeared to be stooping. What's more, as per sources, this is only one of a lot of cases where she wasn't kind to his sentiments. Furthermore, as per Richard himself, her rude disposition played a major part in why he got worn out and left. Tina has an exceptionally dominant character. An insider has uncovered that she could frequently get bossy and request things, and after 8 years, Richard concluded that he had enough. The Tina that he assumed he was hitched to is way unique in relation to the lady he wound up marrying, and he didn't appreciate being hitched to her as much as he figured he would. Yet, this likely had something to do with her bossy demeanor. Indeed, their split has been somewhat clear since they haven't been putting forth attempts to conceal it. Tina changed her Instagram bio from Miss Tina Knowles Lawson to Tina Knowles, and all of you know how I said that. They went wherever together. All things considered, they haven't been seen out in months, and Tina hasn't posted pictures of them together in months. What's more, the last time she posted was in the spring at the Vanity Fair Oscars party. Far more detestable, he wasn't welcome to Jay-Z's mother's wedding recently, despite the fact that Tina was in attendance. Also, this is simply not the sort of occasion that he would have missed. So fans realize that something is up considerably more. Tina didn't go to the screening of Richard's new film, Dark Dread, and in pictures from the occasion, fans saw that he wasn't wearing his wedding band. Presently, individuals don't appear to fault Richard for feeling this way. Furthermore, they left remarks saying that behind each face is a character. What's more, in light of their meeting video of Tina offending Richard like that, it was presumably a rap starting there. The manner in which she discussed him and their association appeared to assume she never truly needed him. However, I made do with him. Assuming she behaves like that out in the open, I can't imagine how she is at the point at which the cameras are off.